Happy day, folks. Welcome back. Blue shirts on. You know what that means. It means getting into trouble with wires, tools, things that can create a bit of happiness and sometimes a lot of frustration, but either way, it's just what I do for fun. So this episode today, first, the weather right now is very nice. It's about 11:30 in the morning. I've already done a few things today, but at the moment the weather forecast is looking at very high temperatures coming in the next few hours, high humidity. So what I want to do is get a couple of things done here that I need to do. One little project with the van, and then another thing we need to do, which you can hang out with. So let's do some out loud thinking here. My DC to DC charger, as you know, the last episode we switched it to half power charging, which is wonderful. It allows the engine alternator and power system to retain a lot of its energy for what you need for the vehicle and keep going. And if you don't need to charge the battery quickly, why would you go for a very high rate charge? However, there may be an occasion or two where you would want to do a high charge. For example, if you were out for a couple of nights, 3 nights, maybe a long weekend out doing some traveling, some sleeping over in the vehicle, using a lot of the battery's energy and then only driving a short bit the next day, maybe even not driving at all, maybe staying in one area, a campground, maybe somewhere in a city. So you just want to do a couple of errands or idle the vehicle for even an hour to get a good charge on the battery. At that point, then you might want to use a high charge. The DC to DC charger is always connected to power on both sides, both the supply side and the lithium battery or the discharge side. So why couldn't I install a switch for the trigger or sensor wire for setting up the low charge or high charge? I don't see why it wouldn't work. Because last episode we took a copy wire from the charge trigger from the fuse box of the engine and ran it over to the trigger for the low charge voltage. Now what I want to do is put a switch between that. I have a switch available on the top console up front. It's freed up. It was for the backup camera, which I don't use anymore at this time. What we're going to do, what I'm going to do, you're just going to watch and laugh if it doesn't work. But I think it should work. It's got to work. Logic just says it's got to work. So we're going to do the console bit first. We'll connect up those two pair, the spare 18 gauge wires that are left up on the console. Connect those to a switch and then come down below and find the other 2 wires from that pair and connect them into the DC to DC charger. They'll be switched, and then I'll be able to select high charge or low charge. It's got to work. It's got to work. I can't think why it wouldn't. There could be a reason why it wouldn't, but I don't know it yet. Anyhow, let's go up and do the console work first and get that switch ready. Come on. We're up front and there's the console. I have some handy dandy tools here with me. Crimpers for getting the butt connectors onto the spade type connectors, the wire cutters if we need them, and my awesome forever wire strippers. These are the ones that I've had, oh my gosh, since I fell off my bike the 4th time, a long time ago. So let's clear off the console here, get it ready to go. And yeah, wow, was it ever warm out here? My gosh. All right, so get these 4 connectors down. There, and more. There. Oh, all right. So we're going to use this switch right here. This was for the backup camera, as I mentioned earlier. That backup camera hasn't been in place, oh my gosh, since I started this project, or before. So I hope I have enough wire, and I don't know if I will. Let me see, these are the two I want to use. Well, I'm not going to have enough room, so I might have to put another switch in over on the side here, maybe. I mean, it would work, but they would be way up here. I guess that doesn't really matter. It's irrelevant to where it goes once I put everything back. So, well, let's give that a try. So, will this hang in position? It used to. Yeah, pretty much hangs. Got a bit lower so you can see things. So we just need to unplug the camera from this switch. I can see the two terminals that the camera is plugged into. Can you see it? There. Well, my forehead's gone, but that could be a good thing. So here's the switch, and so I can tell when the switch is up, I would want high power. So we're going to have to flip the switch around once we get those terminals on here, because the switch would be in the wrong position. That's not a problem. Okay, so those are undone. I want to remember the two silver ones anyhow, that's easy. So let's strip the wire on these. Perfect for one. Perfect for the second one. Give a little twist just so they bind up a little better when they are crimped. Simple. I guess this is a male spade. I'll go ahead and crimp that down. Hopefully it'll grab on. There we go. And yes. And then the other one. Now, these are both going to be positive. All this switch is going to do is complete the circuit, sending a positive trigger signal down to tell the DC to DC charger to go half or full when I choose with this switch. So, by the way, the 12 volt power from here is already fused up front, the fuse block for the car. And that's where the DC to DC charger gets its signal when the car is running to go ahead and start charging. So we're just jumping into that same circuit, the same way it is down below right now. Alrighty, so now I can bring this up. Just need to plug this into one or the other here. It doesn't matter, because we're just creating a loop. Done. And then I need to flip it around. There. And push it back in. Low, high. Low, high. Perfect. Okay. Here we are. Let's give it a go. As long as none of the wires are interfering with each other, we will be more than happy. Okay, these can tuck in here. It looks like a mess, but it really is. It's just a mess. All right. Doing good, doing good. That can go there. All right, so let's do the back end first. That looks good. Looks good. Do. Make sure no wires are coming out anywhere else. Perfect. And we'll leave it engaged, switch up, which would be telling it to be on low charge. But sorry, that would be high charge. Low charge will be bringing the switch down. So let's leave it down then for low charge. And then what we'll do, once I get the wires down below in the basement done up, we'll be able to go ahead and flip that, watch the display, and we should be able to see it change immediately, right before our eyes. That's what I'm hoping. I hate it when plans don't go the way that I dream they should go. Okay, down to the basement. Ta-da! Okay, here's the basement. Now, I think you can, let me just get down here a bit further. All right, so here's the DC to DC charger, this nice teal blue thing. You can see a wire loop right here. So this wire loop comes and connects a power source from the trigger wire right here, which tells the DC to DC charger to go ahead and start charging. It takes wire from there and loops over to the other trigger, which tells it to do low power. And got low power. That was successful. That's not a problem. But now I want to see if we can go ahead and make it switchable back and forth. So up here is the two pair, which I only used one pair, black and red, to take power up to the console. Remember, we did that just a week or so ago. And that works fine. However, there's one other pair left. Remember I told you that we just tied them back. We didn't cut them off. Here they are. It's the white and green, which we just connected up above at the console onto the switch. So, effectively, now this white and green could be a loop or not a loop. And what I'm hoping is we're going to go ahead and connect, and again, it doesn't really matter which one we connect to the trigger power supply, and then the other one to the input to change the DC to DC charger from low to high power. And using the switch, we'll be able to turn it from low to high at will, which would be, wow, that would be super, perfect. So, there's really not much I have to do. Nothing really. I just need to strip a bit of end off of these and then get them into here. And that's the only fight, because that's really tricky. There's not a lot of space to work in there getting these into the terminal slots and tightening them down. But you're here with me. I want to be brave, so let's go ahead and do it. Strip a bit off the ends. Again, with my super duper wire strippers, which I've had forever. Doesn't need to be super long. There we go. Maybe just a tad more off that white one. It just looked a little bit short. There we go. Alrighty, let's just lift this up a little bit. It doesn't need to be up a whole bunch of distance. I'll take out the easy side first. Okay, first one's out. Not a problem. good. And the second one's out. So there's the simple loop that I had in place to keep it on low power. And now we're going to see if we can switch it back and forth. So again, it does not matter which one we select to be which side of the loop. Absolutely doesn't matter. So I'm going to just give this a little bit of twist here, make it more stable, and we'll put that in on this side with the positive trigger. Gotta work this time. If it doesn't work, I quit. This isn't a job anyhow, so I guess I can't quit. All right. Little one, big one. Little one, big one. It worked. All right. Now, the other side has never been a problem. It just sort of goes in and gets clamped. And yes, so that's done. All right, they are both in. The loop is complete to the switch. Make sure that's seated again. There. All right. I want that touching. Alrighty. Well, that part's done. Woo! Finally. Okay, so you're going to want to watch down here on the bottom right. On low power, it'll show, I think, about 230 or 40 watts output charge. On high power, it goes way up to about 550 or 560. So watch right there. We'll start the car and give it a go. So there's low. It's about 253 watts. And high power goes up to 500 and something, 530. Wow, it is working. Yep, works perfectly. Well, that was an awesome little project. I'm glad I did that. Now I have control of low charge rate to high charge rate, and that will make a difference, I think, especially getting into some more nights out and traveling with Vanny here, doing date nights and getting back the next day. Getting a faster charge maybe on the highway, but slow it down if I'm doing stop-start driving. So that's pretty cool. I'm glad I did that. Right now, next what we're going to do is we're going to warm up Genny. Genny was very busy just a few months ago here in our region. We had a tornado. Oh, pardon me. Environment Canada is not allowed to say tornado because the government entities are afraid of property loss values and insurances rising. So we're supposed to call it a rapid circular wind event. Anyhow, we had a rapid circular wind event that knocked out the power to about 500,000 people for, oh, I don't know, 5-6 days. And we just had a bit of another one, a circular rapid wind event that came by just about a week ago. So Genny right here worked very hard in May and provided us a lot of power so that we could keep our freezers and fridges going. and she needs a little bit of an oil change. So we're going to do that now. I have a few things out that we're going to need, and we'll also check the air intake, which I believe is on this end. But first, what we're going to do is turn it on, and it hasn't been running in about 2 months, so this will be a good test. It has an electric start, so we'll see what happens. Now, this is just a small LED light that I have here for when it's running. You can see things. So the Firman's usually been pretty good for me, so we'll turn the gas on right there. We're going to press the choke. Perfect. And we'll leave the eco mode off right now. We'll turn on the ignition. It's on. And now I should just press that same red switch up and we should have a start. Let's see what happens. Turn the choke off for a second. Choke back on. I'm going to press all the remote buttons here just to see. Well, I guess that did it. She is running perfectly. This thing is really quiet. I can walk all around Genny, and she is a very quiet running generator. So what we're doing right now is we're warming up the oil, just so when we do the oil change, it'll come out nice and fluid. Now I don't know if you can see, but right here is the hour indicator, and we're at 127 hours total life. This unit is about 3 years old, but it's only run 127 hours for one main power failure that we had. Now this is a Chinese build generator sold through Home Depot US, but of course we're in Canada and I was able to order it and have it sent here. All right, running very well. I think that's good enough. Go ahead and I'm going to leave the fuel turned on because we'll do a test once I've changed the oil. Good girl. All right. So I'll turn it around so that you'll have the sun to see what's going on. And we have to take this this panel off to access the oil. Okay, this should be pretty basic. I've had this panel off a couple of times to check the oil, obviously, over the last couple of years, and it has never burned any oil, never used any oil. It's been very, very good that way. There we go. Now, here is the oil plug. And a little bit of a drainy thing here, which I don't trust for the life of me. Now, they say there's Oh yeah. So in here, that yellow T-bar thing, that's the oil drain. This is where you fill it up and check it. Let's just take a look at the condition of the oil. See how dark it is. Yeah, it's just nice and warm enough, so this should be easy to work with. Yeah, I mean it's 120 hours worth of dark. It's still in very good condition, so that's absolutely fine. Now I just need to locate where that oil is going to come out when we undo this. Is there a... Oh, okay, yeah, there is. I can feel a rubber plug on the bottom. Let's get down here and see. Yeah, all right. Okay. There, I've removed this from the bottom. So now that oil drain should drain out right through the bottom. So we're going to have to lift this up and put it onto the oil drain pan. Yeah, like that was comfortable. We're just going to prop up this back side. And there we go. No, it's coming out very controlled. That's good. There we go. Perfectly draining. Nice warm oil. Dirty oil. Let's see if you can see what's going on in there. You can see it draining a little bit. It's coming out very slowly, but that's fine. Controlled. It's not spraying all over the place. Not spilling. I don't know how much this really holds. Not a whole lot, I don't think. Okay, doing very good. Pretty much all out here now. Okay, we're down to just a dribble, so that's perfectly fine. Let's replace the cap. Not a lot, but there's some in there. It looks to be a little bit less than half a quart, which is almost 3/4 of a liter or so. And it is quite dark now that we have it in here. Clean funnel. And that angle is going to be terrible, but that's what we have to deal with. Okay. Now I have another container of oil. That was just a remainder of oil in that container. But I just want to do just a quick check here just to see if anything is showing. See how far we have to go. There is something showing, I think. Is it? See if I can get this tipped a little bit. That might be enough. It says that it wants it anywhere on this safe area. And that's what we're getting already. So maybe that's totally fine. We'll put it in, bottom it, bring it out. Folks, we are fine. That's showing perfectly good. We don't want to overfill it. It's an overhead valve engine, and they can be very sensitive to too much oil pressure. There we go. So here's the bottom plug again. I'll just pop that in place. Feels good? Perfect. All right. Okay, we'll start that up and check for any leaks. Okay, now this is the way I like to shut Genny off. I've just killed the fuel supply and I let the generator run itself dry. Now that way I feel it's a little better to store it long term, because this can go several months before I'll even pull it out to do a test start. So we'll just see how long it takes for it to die. Usually it's only about 30, maybe 45 seconds. You can tell right now it's starting to struggle a little bit. And while it's doing that, I'm going to pop this cover back on the side. Makes it a lot more quiet too. Perfect. Just in time. Okay. So this back panel is in place. I'll turn it around and we'll get a look at this side. So yeah, the air cleaner should be right here. Let's take a look. Now I've had the side engine panel off where we just access the oil, but I have never had this panel off. Ah, there we go. Okay. Here's the little battery. Here is Oh, that's the antenna for the remote start. Well, that's pretty cool. Alrighty, put that out of the way. There we go. So here is the air cleaner. And I see there's little clips here. I don't know if I can get you closer. There, so there's clips here. I'll hold this on. I may never get these back on again, but we can hope. All right. Okay. Oh, and I'm looking at the sponge. There we go. Well, that sponge is absolutely perfect. I think I see a couple of little, looks like dandelion seeds or something right there. And that's it. I'm not even going to take that out. That's absolutely perfect. There's nothing wrong with that. So that's going to go back in. Here we go. They're both in. Perfect. Excellent. And I mean, the machine is absolutely pristine in there. It's clean. There's nothing. I keep it covered when it's in the garage. It's never seen the weather. And yeah, it's in great shape. So let's get this back cover back on. Which way is up? Oh, there we go. Okay, that's nifty. The air intake. This circle connects to this, and then it brings the air in right here. The rest is used for cooling. That's interesting. Okay, good design. All right, let's get these back in. Okay, I'm happy. And now, just for good measure, we'll give her one more start and gas bleed off just to make sure that I'm happy with everything. So fuel I've just turned back on. Choke I'm going to leave off just for a second. And let's bring her up.